Let's see how it is possible for you to generate an extra income right now. There's a few things that you should keep in mind, so stay long enough for you to understand. Basically, most people never fail because they're untalented. They fail because they stop too soon. That's the part nobody wants to hear. Everybody loves the idea of success, the freedom, the money, the respect, the calm that comes from knowing your bills are handled before you even look at your bank account. But almost nobody survives the beginning. The beginning is silent. You post something, 3 views, you work for hours, nobody notices you. You spend your evening learning, nobody claps for you. And slowly, your brain starts whispering dangerous things. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe other people are just luckier. Maybe I started too late. But what if the real difference between successful people and everyone else is simply that they kept moving while nobody cared yet? Because momentum is invisible before it becomes obvious. A plane doesn't leave the ground instantly. At first, it just looks like noise and movement, but every meter matters, every repetition matters, every upload matters, and the people who eventually win understand something most people never realize. Volume creates opportunities, not perfection, not motivation, not talent alone. Volume. You do not need your first video to change your life. You need your first 100 videos to teach you how to change your life, and that's the difference. Most people upload 3 times and disappear. The few who continue long enough eventually become impossible to ignore. People romanticize motivation too much. They wait to feel ready. They wait for confidence. They wait for the perfect setup, the perfect camera, the perfect timing. Meanwhile, somebody else is posting with terrible lighting, a cheap microphone, zero support, and still moving forward every single day. And eventually, that person becomes dangerous because discipline compounds quietly. One day of work changes nothing. 1 month changes a little. 1 year changes everything. But the human brain hates delayed rewards, and that's why so many creators quit right before things start accelerating. They mistake silence for failure, when in reality, silence is often the training phase. Nobody sees the repetitions, and nobody sees the nights where you upload while exhausted. Nobody sees the moments where you doubt yourself but continue anyway. And strangely, those invisible moments are usually what creates successful people later, because consistency builds something motivation never can. Trust in yourself, not fake confidence. Real confidence, the kind that comes from proving to yourself that you can continue even when results are slow. That changes a person forever. Discipline is powerful because it keeps working on the days motivation disappears. Anybody can work when they feel inspired, but the people who change their lives work even when nobody is watching, even when the views are low, even when the results feel far away. There's a creator somewhere right now uploading to 10 views, and another creator with millions of followers doing the exact same thing, same platform, same upload button. The only difference is time and repetitions. That's it. The internet rewards people who stay alive long enough. Not instantly, not fairly, but eventually. And this is why posting consistently matters more than people understand. Every piece of content becomes another opportunity for discovery. Another door, another chance for the algorithm to find the right audience. One video can fail, 10 videos can fail, 50 videos can fail, but every upload increases the surface area of opportunity. Eventually something connects, a title, a moment, a sentence, an emotion, and suddenly the same people who ignored you begin asking how you did it. But they never saw the hundreds of quiet days before that moment arrived. They only noticed the explosion, not the pressure building underneath it. The truth is, success usually looks boring before it looks impressive. It looks repetitive, slow, uncomfortable, and that's exactly why most people never reach it. Because repetition feels meaningless when you don't yet see the future it's creating. But every upload is a vote for your future life. Every session where you continue instead of stopping separates you from the version of yourself that would have quit. And over time, that gap becomes enormous. There's another reason consistency matters. It changes the way you see effort itself. At first, every upload feels emotional. You check the views constantly, you refresh notifications, you compare yourself to people who started years before you, and every bad result feels personal. But after enough repetitions, something shifts. You stop treating every post like a final judgment on your future. You begin understanding the game differently. One upload means nothing. One bad week means nothing. One failed video means nothing. Because you finally understand that growth is statistical. The more you create, the more chances you give yourself to improve. and improvement is impossible to avoid when repetitions become part of your lifestyle. That's why creators who survive long enough often look naturally talented later. People see the polished version. They don't see the 200 bad videos that train the voice, the editing, the pacing, the storytelling, the confidence. Nobody starts great. But the internet hides the ugly beginning once success arrives. Your first uploads are not there to impress people, they are there to transform you into somebody capable of succeeding later. That's why quitting early is so dangerous. You leave before the transformation finishes. And this applies to almost everything: content creation, business, fitness, money. The people who eventually win are usually not obsessed with intensity. They're obsessed with staying in motion, even slowly. Because slow movement still creates momentum, stopping creates nothing. There will be days where you feel invisible, days where you question whether any of this is worth it, days where another creator blows up overnight while your work gets ignored again. Those moments destroy most people emotionally, not because they're weak, but because humans naturally want immediate proof that effort matters. And the internet rarely gives that proof early, and sometimes you work for months with almost no feedback. But what most people don't realize is that hidden progress still exists. Your communication improves, your ideas sharpen, your instincts evolve, you become faster, smarter, more precise, even before the numbers show it. That's why delayed success feels sudden to outsiders, but it was never sudden. It was accumulated. People love overnight success stories because they never saw the years of repetition before the explosion. Nobody watches the creator uploading to silence. They only arrive once the noise begins. And there's something else nobody talks about enough. Volume creates luck, not fake luck, real opportunities. The more you post, the more chances you have to be discovered. The more people encounter your work, the more experience you collect. A creator with 10 videos has 10 opportunities. A creator with 500 videos has 500 opportunities. That difference becomes massive over time because eventually one piece of content connects with the right audience at the right moment, and suddenly momentum begins accelerating. One video brings subscribers. Subscribers bring engagement. Engagement pushes the next video further. And what once felt impossible slowly becomes normal. But almost nobody reaches this stage because they emotionally collapse during the quiet phase. They interpret low views as proof they should stop, when low views are often simply the price of entry. The internet tests patience constantly. It asks the same question again and again. Will you continue without immediate rewards? Most people answer no. That's why persistence becomes such a rare advantage, because in a world where everybody quits quickly, consistency becomes powerful automatically. The hardest part is not working hard once. The hardest part is continuing long enough for your effort to finally catch up with your vision. That's where lives change, and eventually something strange happens. The work that once felt painful becomes part of you. You no longer negotiate with yourself every day, you just move. Upload, learn, repeat, adjust, continue. That rhythm changes everything, because success is rarely built through massive moments. It's usually built through ordinary days repeated hundreds of times. And most people underestimate how far ordinary consistency can take them. 1 year of focused repetition can completely alter your future, financially, mentally, emotionally, but only if you survive the phase where nothing seems to happen. That phase breaks almost everyone, and that is exactly why surviving it matters so much. One day, if you continue long enough, people will call you lucky. They'll say your channel suddenly exploded, that the algorithm finally helped you, that you were in the right place at the right time, but they won't understand what really happened. You simply stayed alive longer than your doubts. That's the truth behind most success stories. Not magic, not perfection, endurance. Because every time you kept posting while nobody reacted, you were building something invisible: mental endurance. And once somebody develops that, they become extremely difficult to stop. Most people do not lose because they lack potential, and they lose because they stop during the invisible phase, the phase where nothing seems to happen, but everything is actually being built underneath. There are people right now sitting on channels that could have changed their entire lives, but they'll never know because they stopped at video 12, video 20, video 40, right before momentum had a chance to appear. That's the painful part. Success often arrives late, not because the work wasn't valuable earlier, but because growth compounds slowly before accelerating suddenly, like pressure building inside something unseen. And the people who understand this stop relying on emotions to guide them. They create systems, schedules, habits, because motivation is unstable. Some mornings you feel unstoppable, other mornings you feel empty. Discipline keeps moving anyway. That's why disciplined creators eventually separate themselves from emotional creators. One uploads based on feelings, the other uploads based on commitment, and commitment always wins long term. If you only work when you feel motivated, your future will always depend on your emotions. But when discipline takes control, your progress becomes inevitable. There will never be a perfect moment to begin. No perfect timing, no perfect confidence, no magical sign telling you that you're ready. Most successful people started uncertain. They simply refused to let uncertainty stop them. And over time, repetition removed fear because action teaches faster than overthinking ever will. The people who build extra income online, the people who eventually escape survival mode, the people who create freedom for themselves are usually the people who kept uploading while everybody else disappeared. That's the hidden advantage. Most people cannot stay consistent long enough. You can. And if you do, months from now, your skills will improve, your content will improve, your opportunities will multiply. Not instantly, but gradually, quietly. Then all at once, one day the views begin increasing, the messages begin arriving, the money starts appearing, and suddenly the life that once felt impossible starts feeling real, all because you continued during the phase where quitting felt easier. So if your videos are low right now, if your progress feels slow, if nobody seems to notice yet, keep moving. Your current reality is not your final reality. Every upload matters, every repetition matters, every day you continue matters, because eventually the compound effect of discipline becomes impossible to ignore.